G'day guys, welcome back to the channel for some more Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're going to be talking about steering modes. What steering mode should you use when using a steering wheel? Basically there's really two options you want to go for. There's normal or simulation. And to understand which one we should use, we're going to have to dive deep into the rabbit hole and really talk about what are the differences between the two steering modes. So the first common one I've seen, people say there's a difference in the steering sensitivity or the linearity, which makes the wheel a bit more sensitive near the center of the steering input. So we're going to put that to the test right now. So I fired up on the test track and found a starting point. We turned the wheel 90 degrees and just started driving the car in a circle, and just to see if the cars followed the same steering radius between normal and simulation steering. And as you can see, they're pretty much right on point. There's only a couple of tyre widths difference, and from all the times that I've done the tests, and that's basically just down to inaccuracy of the starting position. And also another test we can do is if we just drive and hit the car at the rev limiter in first gear, and again just turn the wheel 90 degrees, we can look at the friction values of the tyres, and if the friction values match up between the two steering modes, then that's pretty much bang on guarantee that there's no difference in the steering sensitivity or linearity. And as you can see, we're pretty much hitting the exact same numbers. So does it adjust the linearity or the sensitivity of the wheel? No, it doesn't. They're exactly the same, but there is a noticeable difference in feeling between the two steering modes. So we're going to have a look at another test that I did now, and this is looking at the G-force, how quickly the G-force changes. Play it side by side here. If you haven't spotted it yet, basically on normal steering, when the G-force is changing direction, it doesn't matter how fast we move our steering wheel, there's a pause as the G-force is rotating past 0. And on simulation steering, the G-force change is very positive, and it pretty much happens directly in relation to what I'll do with the steering wheel. And if we do this same test again while we're looking at the suspension of the car, you can see on normal steering the car actually rolls a bit slower than what it does on simulation steering. And keep in mind, we're only doing this test at a relatively low speed, so the faster you go, the more this is going to be amplified. So what is actually happening here? Well, if we have a look at the blurb in the description of the settings, we can see normal steering gives you full control of the steering, but applies a damper to certain aspects of the physics. Now what's happening when we turn normal steering on is there is a damper on how fast the weight can transfer from left to right. So this is going to bring us back to our original question: what steering mode should you use on the steering wheel? Now I'm just going to start doing some laps here. I'm using simulation steering, and to be honest, it's really personal preference. But now that you know what the differences between these two steering modes are, you might be able to make a better, more educated guess, or not really a guess, but a more educated decision of which one you're going to use. If you have trouble controlling the car, like if it feels really twitchy, if you get a bit of a slide on and you can't correct it and you just always spin out, use normal steering for sure. If you're like me and really like being in control of the physics, simulation is definitely the way to go. It is more difficult, and I believe the force feedback, well, it could be either two things. The force feedback is not quite quick enough to change up with the fast weight transfers, or there could be something with the physics that makes these weight transfers a little bit too sensitive. But as long as we use reasonable input, we can correct our car without much difficulty. So to me, in all the hours I've put in with simulation steering, I've never noticed any bugs with the steering mode at all. There's no filters on anything when you use simulation steering on a wheel. So yeah, if you really want to drive the physics as they are, simulation steering is the way to go. But if you do have trouble controlling the car, normal steering will be better suited for you. So as you can see, I can drive the cars pretty well with simulation steering, and to me it doesn't feel overly difficult. It mainly gets more difficult the faster you go and the more grip the cars have, because more grip and more speed makes the problems happen a lot faster. But if you're just driving a normal street car or sort of lower class cars, then simulation steering really isn't that difficult. It does get more tricky when you're online around other cars, as you can get bumped around a bit, and which can obviously throw you off quite a fair amount. So when I'm racing online, I generally tend to use normal steering, just for that bit of a cushion if I get bumped or knocked around by other players. But when I'm driving by myself, like I am here, I pretty much always go for simulation steering. But if I'm drifting, if I'm in a car that's not built for simulation steering, like my Mustang in one of my previous videos, then I will use normal steering, because the force feedback just doesn't seem to be able to keep up when drifting when you use simulation steering. And when I say drifting, I mean full on drifting. Not what I'm doing here, I consider just power sliding. I'm not really drifting. But if you guys want to have a try of my Mustang, by the time you see this video it should be shared, so you should be able to just download it and give it a try. It's quite fun to drive. For simulation steering for a drift car, it handles, well, like a tank really, because it's quite a heavy car. I think it's got about 500 horsepower, and you know, it's stock weight, so it is a bit slow through the corners, but it is very fun to drift because the slides are very progressive, and the way I've set the car up is to make it straighten up nice and easy without rapidly changing directions. But if you're using simulation steering, you can always command it to change direction quick, which is what I really like doing with my cars. I like being in full control without dampers on the physics. Oh, we're going a bit deep into here. Brake nice and early here over the crest, and it's off camber. Bit of left foot braking just before each apex, just to keep the car in check. Oh shit. God damn, I hate that. I really need to change my screensaver. Whoa, 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 whoa. God damn, screen timing out. And there used to be an issue on the Xbox as well, which was really annoying. It's a bit odd for it to happen on the PC, but at least on the PC I can change my my screen timeout. Alright, we've only got 2 laps left, so we'll see if we can get in a quick lap. Now this car is completely stock and untuned, so if you want to have a go, see if you can do a better lap than me, I'll be interested to see how quick of a lap I can actually do, because I don't think there's any proper leaderboards on this game yet. Bit of oversteer there, that's not going to be good for our lap time. Nice and early into the off camber. the way I corrected that slide then and got the car pointed into the corner, I wouldn't have been able to do that on normal steering. Oh, and I've completely missed my brake point then, I was too busy talking. So we've binned that lap. Alright, we'll try again this lap, see what sort of lap time we can get. So the helicopter's flying over above. It'd be cool if we had actual replay cameras from the helicopter cam. Back to second. We want a late apex here because this corner tightens on the gas. Oh, that wasn't exactly fast. I didn't even use all the road and we had oversteer. I'm gonna brake nice and early. Get off the brakes for this off camber. Gun it. Bit of a brake. Gun it. Bit of a brake. I can't miss the brake point for this one again. It's a really tight corner. And on the gas. This is a critical corner for a good lap time. Just to dab of the brake and get it tipped in nice and early. And we can floor it. Oh yeah. Back to third. Pull it up second. Get it tipped in. Well, probably a bit slow on the mid corner then. But here we go, across the line. 117.5. As you can see, simulation steering, especially in the more street style cars, is not overly difficult in my opinion. It will take a bit of getting used to if Forza is your first driving game on a wheel, especially if you're using simulation steering. But really there's no you don't have to use simulation steering. Normal steering is fine, you're still driving the same physics, just the game is giving you some slight help to control the car. Anyway guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know in the comments how I can make it better. Or if you have any suggestions or opinions, feel free to put them in there. But yeah, that's going to do it for now, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.